Greetings, students. It's your boy Caleb coming to you live from LaVale, Maryland, population 3,500. I'm on vacation this week visiting my old college roommate. We're going to be playing some indoor soccer tonight, so I will be sending lots of love, missing you guys tonight. There will be a Zoom call after our e-youth video at 7:30, and we hope to see you guys all there. And I will be asking who showed up, so make sure you don't skip out on that. I want to share a verse with you guys from Romans 15:13. It says, "May the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace as you trust in him, so that you may overflow with hope by the power of the Holy Spirit." This week, I'm sending you guys lots of love. I'm praying for you that God will fill you with joy this week, that he'll give you peace, and that you will have hope through the power of his Holy Spirit. That's my prayer for you guys this week. Hey, we got a great show. We've got some announcements from one of our announcements teams. I'm not sure who they are. Maybe you guys can help me figure that out. And we've got worship from Brooklyn Scott. We have a couple of words of truth from me at the end of the evening. But I want to start off with a short video that will highlight some of the memories that we have of Real Youth Group. Check it out.
Just in case you all forgot, I wish youth was back, but we're not, so I thought that I'd bring back some old memories of everything we've been through. Look back on some brighter days. Here are some ones that we lost on the way, so let's take a look at some memories. And the memories we have, memories of youth group. There's a time that I remember when I did not know your names, when I worked as a carpenter, and I hope that that would change. Every month feels like December when you live in northern Maine, but my life had changed forever. January 1, 2018. Started at the church that time, drove right up to Hume next day. Hey, this is gonna be alright, this is where I wanna stay. Hey, just in case you all forgot, I wish youth was back, but we're not, so I thought that I'd bring back some old memories of everything we've been through. Look back on some brighter days. Here are some ones that we lost on the way, so let's take a look at some memories. And the memories we have, memories of youth group. Youth. Memories that we have of Real Youth Group. There's a time that I remember when I got us really lost, when I drove us to San Jose after our Chick-fil-A stop, or when we all went to Chick and I pranked you all so sweet, or when Scott tried to baptize students in the fountain in the street. Also, I remember one time I got sick at Hume Lake, then I drove you in a snowstorm like I used to drive in Maine. Just in case you all forgot, I wish youth was back, but we're not, so I thought that I'd bring back some old memories of everything we've been through. Look back on some brighter days. Here are some ones that we lost on the way, so let's take a look at some memories. And the memories that we have of our youth group. Youth. Memories that we have of our youth group. We got some good memories. We got some sad memories. But I'm gonna tell you one thing, I'm looking forward to making some more memories with my youth group. Memories that we have of our youth group.
1, 2, 3. Bible in a minute. Earth made Adam, Eve. Cain kills Abel, has to leave. Boring genealogy, great flood, olive leaf, Tower Babel, Abraham, Sodom and Gomorrah, and Isaac, Jacob, Joseph, Moses, 10 Commands, Promised Land, Judges, David, Solomon, sent away to Babylon, Job, then a bunch of Psalms, Proverbs, and the Song of Songs, major prophets, Lion Den, minor prophets, Bethlehem, golden myrrh and frankincense, Satan and Samaritan, choose disciples, other cheap, walk on water, thousands eat, Lazarus, fig tree, Last Supper, Gethsemane, Gethsemane, blood, money, third to none. Pontius Pilate, public trial, 40 lashes to the tree. Why have you forsaken me? Third day, empty tomb, reappears, 5 wounds, Acts of the Apostles, next epistles, and apocalypse. Whoa!
Lord, I come, I confess, bowing here, I find my rest. Without you, I fall apart. You're the one that guides my heart. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. The sin runs deep. Your grace is more. What this is found is where you are. And where you are, Lord, I am free. Holiness is Christ in me. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. So teach my song to rise to you. When temptation comes my way, and when I cannot stand, I'll fall on you. Jesus, you're my hope and stay. Lord, I need you. Oh, I need you. Every hour I need you. My one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you. You're my one defense, my righteousness. Oh God, how I need you.
Hi, I'm Owen.
No, you're not. I'm Owen. You're Jake.
Anyways, there's a new Bible plan starting up on Wednesday on the Bible app, so make sure you're friends with Caleb.
Yeah, and the next guy's Bible study will be on August 7th at 7 p.m. at Caleb's house. Hope to see you there.
Hey students, tonight we're going to be looking at what the Bible says about foundations. So you can turn in Matthew chapter 7 if you want. We're going to be in 1 Samuel chapter 3 and also 1 Peter chapter 4. We're going to look at a few passages. First, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about what a foundation is. A foundation is basically the base that you build everything else on. So in Maine, where I'm from, most homes actually are built on foundations. Here we have crawl spaces. Basements are not very common, but almost every home in Maine, just because of the weather that we have, because of the way things are structured, just to keep a house warm in the winter, there needs to be a foundation that your home is built on. If it's not built on a foundation, the ground is going to shift in the winter when the snow falls, and then in the spring when the sun melts the snow. Your house is going to be a little crooked. I actually had a part of my home in Maine that I sold was not built on foundation, and in the spring it would kind of separate a little bit from the rest of the house, and I'd have to go back and cover up the little cracks. One of the things that you look for when you're shopping for a house is the foundation of this house firm? You go down in the basement, you take a flashlight, you look around and look for any parts of the wall or the rock wall or the concrete wall, whatever it is that has cracks or that has holes or that has any signs of damage. If you find damage in the foundation of a house, the house is almost worthless. Doesn't matter if it has mahogany wood floors upstairs or whether it's 3,500 square feet. It's almost worthless if the foundation has cracks or if it's not strong, because that foundation goes, it's almost impossible to put back together and your house is going to collapse. In fact, Matthew 7:24 through 27 talks about that. And this is a parable that Jesus spoke to his followers, and I want to share it with you guys tonight. So Matthew 7:24 through 27 says, "Therefore everyone who hears these words of mine and acts on them may be compared to a wise man who built his house on the rock." Now, the best foundations are made out of rock or concrete, which is man-made rock. "And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house, and yet it did not fall, for it had been founded on the rock. Everyone who hears these words of mine and does not act on them will be like a foolish man who built his house on the sand. The rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and slammed against that house, and it fell, and great was its fall." Now, most houses here in California are 1-stories. I've seen a few 2-story homes. In Maine, they go 3 or 4 stories, not including the basement, So just imagine a 3-4 story house collapsing on itself. It has happened, and there are a number of homes that are just sitting empty because they have literally collapsed inside of themselves. They're just empty houses sitting with poor foundations. Now, a lot of times after Jesus would share a parable, the disciples were like, okay, that's a great story, but what does it mean? This one's pretty clear. I want to highlight a few things. Verse 24, Jesus says, okay, those who hear my words and do them, right? Those who hear my words and do them, those are the ones who have a strong foundation. The same thing in verse 26, he says, those who hear my words and do not act on them are like a foolish man. So those who hear and do what I'm saying, they are wise, they have a strong foundation. Those who aren't listening to my words, those who are not doing the things that I'm saying, are foolish. They're not building their house on a strong foundation, and they will collapse. I want to tell you guys another story, because this just happened yesterday, and I'm still kind of just amazed that this happened. I don't spend a lot of time in downtown Modesto, but I went to downtown Modesto yesterday. I don't think I've been for maybe 5 or 6 months. And I got to an intersection right about to get to the downtown area, and this little white Corolla speeds out, tires squealing of a little side intersection and blows a red light. That was kind of the first sign that something was going on a little weird for me. Then they pulled a U-turn and tried to come back down the same street, but there was someone in the little walkway of the parking lot that they spun through, and they hit this guy with their car. I mean, they didn't even slow down. They just hit him. Literally, his legs went up over his head. He hit the pavement hard. I think he broke his foot, and his sandal went flying, and they just kind of went zipping on through and just blindsided this guy, hit and run. And I mean, I'm just watching this like, is this real or is this a movie? Am I dreaming? Like, what's going on? Literally, his sandal landed in the middle of the street in front of my car. And yet, this guy just gets up, looks around, doesn't yell. I asked him if he's okay, didn't even respond. He just walked to the middle of the street, grabbed his sandal, and kept going. I don't know. I think there was something wrong with him. I think he definitely broke his foot. But he was unfazed, right? He did not see the car coming. He didn't hear him coming. He didn't get out of the way. He didn't plan. He didn't prepare. And he was just kind of unfazed by the whole thing. Kind of blew my mind. He grabbed his sandal and just kept walking. I guess that's all he figured he could do. I think 2020 has kind of been like that white Corolla for a lot of us. It's kind of hit us. It's kind of blindsided us. And we weren't ready for it. I'll tell you guys, I was not ready for this year, for the way that things were going to go. I kind of had a different feeling, and I felt like I got blindsided in a lot of ways. I felt like, just mentally speaking, my sandal has ended up in the street because 2020 hit me pretty hard. And yet, I think that if our foundation is on Jesus and in the words that Jesus has given to us, that we will be able to handle getting hit by a Corolla, moderately speaking, or getting hit by the 2020 stuff that's been going on. One other verse I want to share with you guys is 1 Samuel 3:11. In 1 Samuel 3:11, God is talking to Samuel, and he says, it says, "Then the Lord said to Samuel, Behold, I am about to do a thing in Israel at which the 2 ears of everyone who hears it will tingle." God just tells him, hey, people who hear what I'm doing, people who hear what's going on with my actions in your land, right? It's going to make people's ears tingle. It's going to be crazy, right? They're not going to believe it. They're not going to hear it. Times are changing. And I think we need to be ready for those things. We need to have our foundation built on God so that when things happen that makes people's ears tingle, I think that's kind of been a theme of this year. When things happen, we have our foundation on the words of Jesus. Lastly, I'm going to share a few verses for you guys from 1 Peter 4:12 through 14. Peter is giving these words to the Christians who are going to be and are already suffering at the hands of persecution. An interesting choice of words here Peter uses in verse 12. He says, "Do not be surprised at the fiery trial when it comes upon you to test you, as though some strange thing were happening to you. But rejoice insofar as you share Christ's sufferings, that you may also rejoice and be glad when his glory is revealed. If you're insulted for the name of Christ, you are blessed, because the Spirit of glory and of God rests upon you." So Peter says a fiery trial. Sometimes things that we go through can feel like fiery trials, but I think specifically Peter was referring to the burning of Rome and some of the things that were causing Christians to be persecuted at this time. Peter said, hey, don't be surprised at these trials when they're coming. Something strange, that's not something strange, right? This isn't. I've been rewatching Stranger Things. He's like, this isn't Stranger Things. This is just what you should expect as a Christian. You're going to go through trials. You're going to go through tests, but you need to rejoice because you're going through sufferings that is similar to the sufferings that Christ went through. He said, if you're insulted for being a Christian, if you're insulted for that, you're going to gain blessings because God's Spirit rests upon you. So a couple things I just want to encourage you guys with this week as we continue to move forward, right? I think about this guy getting up after getting flipped over the hood of a car, just getting up and grabbing his sandal, right? How can we just continue to move forward in this life? I think the first and most important thing that we need to do is examine our foundation. Is our life built on our own skills or our own abilities? If so, we're going to let ourselves down at some point. Is our life based on our plans or the things that we have that we are expecting to do or to achieve, right? Because this year has shown us that those plans that we make are pretty fragile in compared to the things that God's going to do, right? Whether it makes your ears tingle or not, God has been doing some wild things this year in the life of our country and hopefully in your own personal lives. And I want to ask you, is your foundation solid? Is it built on the words of Jesus Christ? Those who hear the words of Jesus and those who do the words of Jesus are those who are going to be able to stand through the tests that life brings us. How do you know whether you're following the words that Christ has given you? How do you know whether you're able to hear those words? Are you opening up his words? Are you listening to his Spirit? Are you spending time in prayer? Are you spending time talking to other believers, encouraging each other, making sure that your conversation isn't negative, but it's focused on how you can lift and encourage one another? I'm excited to see how we can examine our foundations and how we can add to our foundations. One of the things in Maine that you could do if your foundation's a little flaky is you can go down and you can just take concrete and you can just plaster it onto the walls. It's expensive, it's difficult, it takes a little bit of work, but it's worth it because your home then will have value and be able to stand through the weathering of the seasons. We don't have tornadoes or anything crazy like that, but the springtime thawing, your foundation can withstand it. If you guys can strengthen your foundations, where they are weak, you'll be able to stand through the test of time that life throws at you. So I want to encourage you guys with that this week, and we'll see you guys tonight on